Villagers at Laoshiwu barely made a living from farming and fishing in the past, but not anymore.
There are only 20 boats left in the village.
The villagers who are still doing traditional fishing are mainly in their 50s. Young people think it's too tough to fish on the sea. Aquaculture is much easier.
I used to decline any job related to seafood. Now I am delighted to do such work.
Join us on our visit to another village by the Yellow River mouth to witness its transformation as the traditional way of living slowly fades away. This is episode 11 of our special series, The Yellow River Mosaic, Revival of a Fading Fishing Village.
November the 11th, 2023, Laoshiwu Village at the mouth of the Yellow River, Shandong Province. Laoshiwu Village is just a block away from Hongguangniu Village, where traditional fishing is still very much alive, as told in the last episode of this program. But the life of the villagers here is a different story. It was a late afternoon in early November. The sky turned orange at sunset. Niu Xiaochen was selling crabs harvested from his ponds.
I've rented some 7 hectares of pond areas to raise crabs and another 27 hectares to breed sea cucumbers.
Niu Xiaochen said they started out with baby crabs in May and raised them until late November. As for sea cucumbers, they would be harvested before summer.
Most land in the village is used for aquaculture. Around 870 hectares of the ponds are managed by individual villagers. Another 670 hectares are used for a solar fish farming project where we combine aquaculture and PV power generation.
51-year-old Cui Jianyu is the village head. His fellow villagers call him Hai Ge, or Brother C. He is a millionaire entrepreneur who returned to his village 4 years ago.
Before he came back, we just had a few scattered breeding ponds, not on such a scale. There was no solar fish farming either.
I had done fish farming before, but knew little about breeding skills.
The villagers planted crops too, but the saline soil here is not productive at all.
Cui Jianyu initiated an industrialization project where land in the village is managed in a centralized manner.
Industries are important to a region's development. We rent out part of the land to individual villagers for fish farming. Free services are offered to help them maintain the pond's normal operation. We also invited experts from the Chinese Academy of Fishery Sciences to teach us aquaculture skills and knowledge.
This year, each moo of my crab pound could make 2,000 yuan.
And that's 30,000 yuan per hectare, which means Niu Xiaochen could earn 200,000 yuan, or about $28,000 from the crabs he would harvest.
In addition to individual aqua farming, we have collectively built 18 greenhouses for crab rearing in winter and sell them off-season.
The village also runs a seafood processing factory the size of a football pitch. 60-year-old Wang Meifen is hired to take charge of its operation.
This is crab paste. It's purely handmade and crushed with a pestle. Only salt is added to the crab meat, nothing else.
The factory also produces shrimp paste, salted fish, roasted shrimp, and more.
我们收回来的这些租金，我会按照我们集体经济。
The villagers are the main shareholders. Collectively, we keep 20% of the income as public fund.
我们今年半年就分了17600，每口人分了17600。
Traveling downstream along the Yellow River, we didn't meet many young people in the countryside. Most of them have moved to work and live in the cities. Population aging is getting increasingly serious, especially along the middle reach of the river. It might seem the same in Laoshu village, but Cui Jianyu said that's not really the case.
在外边居住，但是只是居住在市里，为了孩子上学比较方便。
Many young people choose to live in the city so that their kids can get a better education, but they come back all the time to run their businesses in the village.
Talking about education for kids, Cui Jianyu said there are only a few dozen students in the village primary school, and the number keeps shrinking. He believes the development of the village will bring more young people back, and e-commerce is the breakpoint.
以前呢，农村反哺城市，现在呢，慢慢的转变成要反哺。
It's time for the city to help the countryside in return.
Over the past few decades, millions of farmers in China migrated to cities and made up the main workforce in the country's urbanization drive. Now, 29-year-old Niu Hui is among the first batch of villagers to return home.
19年年底回来的，主要负责呢就是开个会呀，打个会。
At the end of 2019, Haige called me and asked if I would like to help them with some paperwork. They didn't have many young people left in the village, only the elderly stayed there. I agreed. As I worked more in the village, I became a member of the village committee.
爷爷、我姥爷，然后我爸那一辈儿，家就是全部是干海鲜的。
Niu Hui said she refused to do any work related to seafood in the past because her family had been doing that for generations. Now, she thinks this job is very fulfilling.
白虾皮酱，这个酱特别香，你可以看到里面那个，你看这个。
Following Cui Jianyu's advice, Niu Hui set up a studio in the village along with 5 co-workers to sell the villagers' aquaculture products through live stream shopping.
没离开过这个海鲜。
那你现在觉得开心吗？就是做这个。
还可以，至少是能自己凭自己的努力，然后出来。
Now I can help other people and make their lives better. During last year's Mid-Autumn Festival, we sold 600,000 yuan worth of crabs. It was truly exciting.
嗨，大家好，我是海哥。今天挑了几只螃蟹来给大家炒一下，看看效果怎么样。走。
Village head Cui Jianyu believes that the internet has connected the isolated fishing village to the bigger world. He created accounts on different social media platforms and updates regularly with their stories, from their fish farm to the newly opened canteen for senior villagers. He also uses these platforms to interact with his fellow villagers.
矛盾有点升级，今天我来调解调解。子说，我听说这两天怎么着这么郁闷啊？
Cui's work has won him wide recognition. However, only Cui and his team know what they have been through.
很多人都不明白，你老百姓他好多人都不知道，你农村到底是个啥农村啊？
The villagers didn't understand why we had to do it in this way. I explained to them in details whenever I could.
只要有机会我就跟大家聊。
开始去找他们，他们都不愿意干。后来
At the very beginning, they resisted any change and showed no interest in selling our products on the internet.
就是0个人观看到1个人观看。
During the first 6 months of our live stream selling practice, we didn't attract many buyers.
为什么我说为什么今年我们一定要发展文旅呢？
But Cui Jianyu is an optimist. There's a long-term plan for the village.
为什么？因为文旅一旦做起来，我们外部的人员就会自然能够进入到你的村庄。
We will develop tourism to attract more people. Once they come, they will surely buy some stuff. What's more, the villagers, especially the seniors, would feel useful and needed if they're engaged.
怎么参与呢？
How do you engage them?
那好啊，你比方说，我们前2天就开始研究，我们怎么把我们原始的文化挖掘出来。
We take advantage of our fishing culture. A drum team has been set up to perform traditional rituals on the opening day of each fishing season. Senior villagers could show the tourists how to weave a fishing net.
The village committee also rented some spare houses from villagers, refurbished and turned them into guest houses and restaurants. Construction is underway in the southern part of the village, where abandoned boats are being converted into guest houses.
那个地方叫渔船博物馆，露天渔船博物馆。我们整个的规划是。
We also built a fishing boat museum for visitors to get a glimpse of the life of a traditional fisherman.
将来以后的运营是个大问题。
However, Cui Jianyu admitted that it's easier to build those facilities than to manage them.
我们现在也在逐步着引进一些比较专业的功夫来整理这个打理。我觉得这样。
The villagers don't have management skills. We will hire professional hospitality companies to keep the business running and attract more tourists. The villagers will be employed as workers. Today, most of the villagers here have given up fishing, their traditional way of life.
There are only 20 boats left in the village.
I just got back from the sea and had not slept for 30 hours. The temp workers resigned, saying they were exhausted.
你之前是也是出海？
I used to go fishing on the sea, now I work in aquaculture.
The traditional way of living will gradually fade away. Individual fishing will be replaced by large-scale vessels from fishing companies. The villagers who are still doing traditional fishing are mainly in their 50s. Young people think it's too tough to fish on the sea. Aquaculture is much easier.
我现在为什么要做我们的3产？就是旅游板块。
That's why we are developing tourism. Traditional fishing method is out of date, but tourism will last. Dongying is where the Yellow River empties itself into the sea, so we've decided to create a scaled-down duplicate of Yellow River landscape. From the river's origin in Qinghai Xizang Plateau to the Bohai Sea, replicas of all important landmarks will be built. These businesses mean more jobs. I hope the development of the village will benefit our 2 neighboring villages. In fact, we have already begun collaborating at the village committee level.
The 2 villages Cui mentioned refer to Hongguangniu village and Yucun village. Both still live off traditional fishing.
农村管理不是一朝一夕能够全部解决。
The revival of the villages will not happen in one day. It could take generations. We're still far from there.
但是还有缺乏很多东西，还要去探索。
Cui Jianyu added that they've also started cooperation with aquaculture experts to develop new products and intelligent aquaculture. Their focus at present, however, is to complete the construction of tourism infrastructure.
It will be ready on May the 1st. Do come again.